Hi, welcome to Camp Happy Mail. Thank you for joining me again today for another card making adventure. Today is going to be a fun one because we're going to use up some pieces from a video I did a few weeks ago. These are leftover pieces that I had whenever I did the experiment with the peach tea and the cranberry juice dyeing of the papers. And I have these two, and this one I put some, just some white gel matte medium paste over top of them. And then I still have all of these pieces yet to use. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do with these yet, but for today I'm going to work with these ones. So I thought that I would make two cards, obviously, two panels. I'm not sure what kind of cards are going to turn out to be, but I wanted to use this stamp set. I thought these rabbits together would look really cute with these hearts. So maybe we'll make, let's see, what do the sentiments say? Valentine's Day. Okay, this card is filled with Valentine's Day wishes. And let's see, still cozy after all these years, through all the love, sweat, and tears. That's cute. Happy anniversary. Oh, okay. So we could make, so happy I get to call you mine, and I love you and I love and adore you. Okay, so we could make an anniversary card, and we could make a Valentine's Day card. How about we do the same design for both, showing that you can use the same design across different kinds of cards. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut some pieces to go on top of these. I'm going to use some dies from Queen & Company, which I'll link everything below that I do end up using. So let me get the pieces cut for on these, and then we'll do some stamping and some coloring, and then we'll build the card. So I'm back. So I decided to keep this fairly simple. I have some dies. These are from Pink and Maine that cut out some cute heart borders. I'm not sure if these are still available or not. I will look for them to see if I can find them, and if I can, I'll link them below. So I cut out ones that are hearts. I did one in the light pink and one in the darker pink. And then I cut out the borders that have the little heart cutouts on them. So I did one of those in the dark pink and then one in the light pink. So we'll try to figure out where to use these on these cards. And then from the Queen & Company set, well, these are the card bases. From the Queen & Company set, I decided to just go with this simple piece. So essentially, we're just going to mount these onto here. We'll figure out where to add these. And I guess I should figure that out so that I know where to do the stamping at. So let's go ahead and pull out the stamps. Now this is the Colorado Craft Company set, and it is called Lots of Love. Sometimes it's hard to find the names on these stamp sets. Okay, so I know that I want to use this one on one. That's the image. So let's put that over here. And then the other one is this image. Super cute. And that's that one. Okay, so now with the sentiments, this card is filled with Valentine's Day wishes. So we could put that down here and maybe string some hearts, whoops, upside down, across the top. Maybe we'll do the light ones like this. And then this one, so happy I get to call you mine. So maybe we'll do this one up here, like that's what the bunnies are thinking. And maybe we'll do the string of hearts down here. Okay, I think that will work. So let's go ahead and get these stamped. I may do some basic coloring on these. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so because this hangs off, and so I don't have to worry about where my ink is going, I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper behind this. Okay, and I want to center them as good as possible. And actually I'm going to tape this piece down with some mint tape so it doesn't move. And I'm using Memento Tuxedo black ink on this because if I decide to Copic color this, that's what I'll need the ink to be. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and put the second one down. Okay, that's awesome. All right, and again, we will clean off these stamps. I always clean my stamps before I put them away. I don't like to put them away dirty. Stamps and this kind of stuff are an investment, and I like to take care of them. Now, it's totally up to you whether you clean yours off or not when you're done, but I prefer to clean mine off. That way they're all ready to go for the next time, and there's no ink left on them, and I don't have to worry about getting different colors of ink all over my projects. And you know what? I think we'll just leave this in here so that we can use that again sometime. Okay, so let's decide on some colors for these. Maybe we will go ahead and color the bunnies. So I think I want the one set of bunnies to be brown and a bunny to be gray. So I think I'm gonna do, and I'm reaching over here. This is where I have my Copic markers at. So I think I want cool gray 1, 3, and 5. That seems to be my go-to for the grays. And for the browns, I think we will do 15, E15, 17, and 18. And let's see, they've got a carrot that's orange, which we'll just do a single color. And we've got some grass. So we'll do some YGO3, some YGO5. And we've got a flower that I think we'll just make a solid color of pink, maybe an R83. And I think that will do it. Okay. So now that we have all of our colors, let's go ahead and do some coloring. And we're just going to do this real quick. This is not going to be anything fancy, just to show you that you can easily color some images real quick and put together a quick card. Okay, so I'm going to start with the C1, which is the lightest. And I think I will color this bunny, this C1. And you could just as easily just put one layer of color on these, and that would be just as cute as actually doing some shading and things. And I might do that depending on what this looks like. Okay, and these images do have a couple little cheater lines on them. That's what I like to call them. It's where you can just add in some easy shading if you want to, and I think we'll go ahead and do that, just using their lines. So a little bit back here. They have a little bit down here, a little bit on his bottom, and on his feet. And I think we might call it at that. And while we got the C's out, let's do this one over here. So let's make this one the gray one. There aren't as many cheater lines on this one, so we're just going to wing our way through some shading on this. Then we'll just go over that again with the C1 to blend all that out. Okay, we'll just call that little gray bunny done. So let's go in with the C15 and let's color the other bunny. A little bit of E17. Okay, I apologize for this, but for the rest of this video, I'm going to have to do just a regular voiceover on it. I somehow messed up the audio on this, and I'm not quite sure what I did, but we're going to continue on. So for this rabbit, I decided I wanted him to be a little bit lighter brown, so I went for an E35, and that's the color that I'm doing right now. And I'm just going to color the entire rabbit this shade of brown. And then I will bring in, I believe, an E37 and an E39 to do the shading on this. And I will speed these up again so that you're not bored just watching me color this. Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, and then as far as the little noses go, I should have left them open, but I didn't. But we're just gonna go ahead and color over them with a little bit of pink. Maybe that'll show up. Okay, and then for the little flower, it's too small to really do any shading in, so we're just gonna do a simple one color. And then same thing for the carrot. And then for the grass. For the grass on this, I'm just using YG01, and then I'm going to highlight that with some YG05, just where the shadows would be, just to give it a little bit of contrast. And then I'm going to blend both of those back out again with the YG01. And I've got a couple little spots on here where I went out of the line, so I'm going to show you how to fix that. So they make a marker that's it's a colorless blender, and it's number 0. So what you want to do is you want to take your heat gun. You want to heat up your heat gun a little bit. Then what you want to do is on these spots here where I went out of the lines by accident, you just want to go over those with your colorless blender and then heat them up to dry it. And then go over it a little bit more. And you keep doing this until that color is gone. And then we'll do up by his belly. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get the color to completely disappear, but if you just have patience and go back and forth between coloring and the heat gun, eventually you should be able to get most of it to be gone to where you can't even tell. And there you have it. Can't even tell that I went out of the lines. I love that trick with Copic markers. Okay, now we're ready to assemble these cards. And I am going to put down a craft mat because I need to get some glue onto the back of those pieces. So let's go ahead and start by putting these down onto their bases first.
I'm just going to glue both of these panels onto the card bases. I thought that both of these panels were the exact size of an A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I was mistaken. Apparently this one was cut a little bit short, and it happens. So you'll see there's a little white edge hanging off of the right hand side of that one, and I will trim that off. So my card will be just a hair shorter than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that's fine. Nobody's ever going to know. I mean, I don't think anybody's actually going to whip out a ruler and measure your cards. And if they do, well, yeah. So anyway, so the pink one was exactly the right size. So now that was probably the easiest part of putting these together, because now I'm starting to assemble these, and there's a stitched edge on both the background panel and on that die cut piece for the center. And now I'm debating, do I want to cover up that stitched edge up at the top and run the stitched edge from that white centerpiece over top of it, or do I want to move it down and maybe center it, or just move it down a little bit? This is the hardest part of designing a card for me, is making all the decisions on where things should be. Now I know that we initially laid this out, and I thought I would put them at the very top and then have those banner pieces going at diagonals. And quite honestly, after doing this part of it and putting them on there and making an X like that, I was kind of wishing that my banners were a little bit curved. It would have been, I think it would have flowed a lot nicer. So now I'm toying with the idea of just putting them going straight across. And this part probably took me the longest to do. And this always takes the longest to do, which is laying out the pieces that you have, just trying to figure out the exact placement of things. So again, with the banners going at an angle, and I mean, that would have worked, that would have been cute, but it just wasn't working for me to have it as a crisscross X like that. It just didn't look right. So I'm thinking now I'm going to just put, banners across the bottom, banners across the top. I don't know. So I go back and forth like this for quite a bit, just trying to figure out, and I really wish that these banners would have been curved. And at one point I did stop and I looked in my stash to see if I had curved heart banners, and I do not. So guess what I'm going to be looking for? But anyways, so I decided to go that direction with one straight across the bottom and one straight across the top. So now we're going to go ahead and put those into place and get them adhered. Now that I have a little bit of a plan in my head for this, I'm going to go ahead and adhere those panels down to my base, and I've decided to go ahead and just center those on the cards. I wasn't worrying about where the stitched outlines or anything were. I just thought it would look better if I just centered them and moved on. So for these pieces, because they are longer than the card base, now I had to make a decision. Did I want them to go the entire way across that card base, both pieces, or do I want to cut them so that they only go across the white piece? It's things like this. I go back and forth, what is going to look the best? And I decided ultimately to go ahead and trim these so that they only go across the white piece. I thought that they created too much of a dividing line if I put them the whole way across the card over top of the pink areas. And I just wanted a little bit of the decoration on there, and I didn't want to divide up the top and the bottom of the card. So I'm just going to trim these off and then put these down. After getting this trimmed and then laying it down on top of the card, I stood back and I looked at it and realized that the area where the grass is on my image, I thought it would look better if it was a little bit extended further down and maybe a little more straight across, kind of like the other card is. So I grabbed that YG01 again and just added into the grass a little bit to even it out and make it more parallel with that line of hearts. So we're going to go ahead and get this piece glued down. I really like these kind of cards. They're not that difficult, and you're taking just a bunch of different elements that maybe you wouldn't have thought otherwise went together, like those backgrounds being mixed media and then mixing those with an image that was colored with Copic markers, and then pulling out some fancy glitter paper to go with them. I think you can do some really neat things if you just pull out your supplies and just start mixing and matching things together. you can end up with some really cute cards. And this is probably one of my most favorite kind of cards to make, is to just pull out a bunch of things and just play and figure out what works well, and just go from there. So like the other card, this piece I am going to trim off those little pink hearts so that they only go across the white part and not across the entire top part of the card. And again, the only reason I chose to do it that way is because I felt that having the hearts going the whole way across, that it just created too much a divider line between the top and the bottom of the card. And with there not being anything on the top part of this card, I thought it was best if I just put these across the very top of that white piece. And they don't stand out a whole lot, but just enough to make it pretty and cute. And that's what we're going for, right? Pretty and cute. So a little bit of glue on this, and we'll get this adhered down. And then we're going to do something just a little extra to this. Although I thought that it was, pretty and cute, just the way it was, I thought that it would be neat to add just a couple little more accent pieces on here to go with those sparkly hearts. So those little things that I just put out there, and I'll zoom in here in a second, but those little things I put out there are the hearts that were popped out of the other banners. So you'll see I'm going to put these up in the corner. There we go. So just a little bit of decoration up in that corner. I felt it needed something up there just to tie it all together. And those little hearts were the perfect thing to put up there. You could have just as easily put Nouveau drops or enamel dots or some kind of little gems or whatever, but I thought that that was a good option. To finish off this card, I decided to put some of the dark pink hearts from that other little heart banner up there inside of the light pink hearts on this one. And that finishes off both of these cards. I hope you enjoyed seeing these coming together, and I appreciate that you stopped by today to watch this one. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.